no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to L-V, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? You are watching the Raiders Report. This is a Raiders mailbag that was filmed on Tuesday, so just keep that in mind in case any of these players that we talk about ended up getting signed. And as a reminder, if you want to get your questions on the show, you got to subscribe, and you got to join us for our live shows every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Super chat time coming in here from No Garcia. Raiders! Mitch, love the show. Like the Cowboys versus Raiders game. Might be in AT&T Stadium. Will you attend it if it happens? Also, Raiders make the playoffs this year. Believe it, baby. In terms of making the playoffs, I'm going to give it two Chucky heads. People are talking. And for the Raiders game, it's still TBA. I still want to be able to do a Raiders watch party. My goal is this, to go tailgate at AT&T Stadium and have a Raiders watch party at Jerry's. Perfect. John's right on it. Yes, Raiders Report tailgate at Jerry's World. That's the goal. That is the ultimate goal. And if I could pull this off, man, I would be super, super stoked. But, John, appreciate the $20 super chat. What I want you guys to do, if we can make this happen, I want you guys to message my boss at Chat Sports on Instagram and say Raiders Report tailgate at Jerry's World. Let's get it happening. Let's go to Perkaholic World 999. They screwed us with the index card. I mean, are we still talking about this index card thing? Still? I mean, or is that like a Thanksgiving Day reference? I don't even think it has anything to do with the Raiders. All right, let's go to NFL News Channel 01, which is, again, always the picture of me from one night that I do not remember in college. Mitch, you got anything there you can take a drink of because you need a relaxer? Also, you going to go any games this year? Would you have to trade for Julio? I will be talking about a Julio Jones trade coming up here on today's live show, so if you're not watching this live, please go ahead and do so. But he is a 32 receiver. If you're going to go out and trade for him, it's going to cost you $15 million this year, and then you have to pay him, I believe it's like 11.5 and then 11.5 over his next 2 years of his contract. So he's obviously a super talented player. But in terms of going to any games this year, again, it's still TBA. I want to be able to do live watch parties. So if I could do live watch parties at certain events or certain locations, I'd be all about that. And what do I have to drink? I don't have anything to drink, but I have told my boss before, $50 super chats, we'll take some shots of Fireball. And maybe I can make some other guys around here drink too. All right, let's go to Omaha. Should the Raiders extend Derek Carr before the season starts? I've actually talked about this a few times, but it's been coming up more often because of the whole Aaron Rodgers trade situation. Carr's a good quarterback, right? And I actually was looking at the live chat. People were like, oh, he's a top 10. He's not a top 10 quarterback in my opinion. You can hate on me all you want. He is top 12. Like, he's right there. The reason why I'm going to say no, I would rather wait to extend DC is because I want to see what he does this year, and you don't need to go out and extend him. Like, I would rather pay him what he needs to get paid, 22.1, 19.9, and then if he goes out and balls, sure, then you can go ahead and extend him. The issue is this. If you decide to extend Derek Carr, then you can't go out and pay a lot of the other guys that are also going to be waiting for their contracts because you got Max Crosby, Josh Jacobs, Cleveland Ferrell, Jonathan Abram. There's going to be a lot of other players, Yannick Ngakoue, that are also going to be kind of due for their deals as well. And the thing that worries me is this. If he doesn't have a lot of talent around him, we've already seen, Derek's not good enough to really take a team that's got an average defense very far. Now, he's never really had an average defense, but at the end of the day, I'm going to say no. I'm going to wait and not extend DC. But I do want to know from y'all, type E for extend, type W for wait. It's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I don't do this show for popular opinions. I do it for my opinion, and I do it so you guys can get your votes in as well. All right, we got Ski Life. Josh, hey, bro, hit Merrick and Diablo and tell them we not digging those numbers. So Merrick, I believe, is 25. Divine Diablo is number 49. If you guys want to go see the numbers that the rookies have gotten, it's on my Twitter. It's on my Instagram, at Mitchell Renz 365. Let's go to Marks. Get money. Do you think the Raiders should have got Dion Holliman? He's fast. I think the only person I can think of, and Sam and I are trying to rack our, Javon Holland, I have no idea. All right, so this is actually a wide receiver from the XFL. He's fast. I personally don't think just because you're fast means you're good, right, Darius Hayward-Bay? But I actually don't know who this player is. So what I usually do is say, hey, if you guys give me a name that I have no idea who it is, I'll take a drink. But in terms of XFL players, I'm probably going to say I'm good. All right, let's go to Omarni. What up, man? Will they sign Sheldon Richardson? It's a good question. He was one of the players that I talked about on my episode in terms of top free agents still out there. He's a good run stopper, better run stopper than he is a pass rusher, but 64 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. If they go ahead and want to bring in Sheldon Richardson, they are at the 90-man roster limit, so you do have to decide to move on from somebody. But if I'm being real, this fits exactly what Bradley tries to do in terms of getting big dudes that clog up the middle. That way you don't have to blitz as much, and that really helps the guys on the outside get after the quarterback. But if you tell me right now, could get Sheldon Richardson on a good contract, hell yeah, I'd do that. If you guys are looking for more NFL news and rumors videos, if you like what I do here at the Raiders Report, I also go live on Wednesdays over at Chat Sports, but we have videos popping out literally every single 3 hours over there. So go check it out, youtube.com/chatsportstv. It's the link below. And if you could help us get to 250,000 subs, man, I would really appreciate that. And I also like when more Raider fans subscribe, because when Raider Nation dominates the comments or dominates the questions during our live shows, that makes me a lot happier. So head on over, youtube.com/chatsportstv. The link is in the comments. It's in the description. Raider Nation show out. Don't let me down. Let's go to Brian Cal. You're next up here on the Raiders Report. Which Raider will most likely wear 0? I don't know if any Raider player is going to wear 0. I mean, I not that 0 is retired. Obviously, 00, Jim Otto. But I don't really think anybody's going to wear 0 right now. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to say no one. Let's go to Steve Lopez. Can we link up to host a blood drive for multiple children's hospitals at once, or a fundraiser for Golden Heart LA? Can we link up to host a blood drive? How about this? If anybody wants me to do anything like this, you have to message me on Instagram, or you can email me. Mitch at Chat Sports is probably the easiest way to get something like this started. But as it stands right now, I don't know. We can find some available times and try to figure it out. But if I'm going to do something like this, I would actually like to be in attendance. But I'm sure we can figure something out. If you guys think that I am that much of a driving force, or if you think that I am that important that I need to be there, I'm always flattered. But I've actually never given blood, so I don't know what that's going to be like. I tried to do it in high school one time, but unfortunately, I was not able to do so. So, Steve, appreciate it, though. All right, let's go to Damien Gaming. Or no, we got another question coming in here. Again, if you guys want to come on the show, hashtag Raiders, or you can go ahead and super chat. It's always the easiest way to get on here. And appreciate everyone who's watching right now. We got Jeremy Chuggs. Would you rather have Carr or Stafford? I'll take Derek Carr. I know a lot of people might say Stafford who aren't people from Raider Nation, but as far as I'm concerned, Derek Carr and Matthew Stafford are kind of in the same boat, where a lot of people are like, oh, that's a talented quarterback, yet organizations that they've been around haven't made the best choices. The teams that they've been on haven't made the best choices or best personnel decisions. But I'll say that I've seen enough with Derek Carr to know that he's a lot more consistent than Stafford. I will say that potentially Stafford's ceiling's a little bit higher. However, I'm going to take Derek Carr. All right, let's go to Arnold Reynolds. Should the Raiders sign Ryan Kerrigan? So I actually like this question. I know this is one of those dudes that we talked about again on our top NFL free agents still left out there video. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. It's on the channel. When it comes to Kerrigan, this has been one of those players that John Gruden has loved for a long time, and he's always popping up in terms of trade rumors to the Raiders, this and that. Yet, he's been a name that a lot of people have forgotten about because people want to talk about Justin Houston. People want to talk about Melvin Ingram. But if I go out and get myself a Ryan Kerrigan who's actually been able to stay relatively healthy over the last few seasons, a lot more healthy than Ingram, and I actually think he'll be cheaper and fit what Gruden would want to do better, I'm actually on board for it. But should the Raiders go out and sign Ryan Kerrigan, give me a Y for yes, or want you to type N for no. Obviously, it's always going to come down to money. Like if you're telling me we're going to pay him over $3-4 million a year, I might simply say, well, we can wait on that. Because if you're telling me I can also go out and get Casey Hayward for a deal up to $4 million, like if we could give the deal we gave Casey Hayward exactly to Ryan Kerrigan, I would do it in a heartbeat. The issue is edge rushers a lot of times get paid more than some cornerbacks. Downty, I think that's how I pronounce it. You're next up here, my dude. Love the picture. It matches the name. Who do you think is the best receiver on the team? Is personally, I can see Bryan Edwards being one in the future. The best wide receiver on the team as it stands right now in terms of like an actual receiver, I'm honestly probably going to go with John Brown, because John Brown at least has a 1,000-yard season, and if he stays healthy, he's the receiver that I think leads the team in receiving yards. In terms of best upside, I'm kind of with you that I think Bryan Edwards has a better chance of being a true number one receiver than Henry Ruggs. But the hope is that Henry Ruggs can emerge and be that number one receiver and be a lot like, Cliff Branch was. And can we get Cliff Branch in the Hall of Fame? Please, for the love of God. Let's go to Heather Spooner. What's the deal with Watson? Do you see a scenario to get him if the Broncos get Rodgers? Here's the thing. I just don't even want to do anything with Deshaun Watson right now until we find out all the details going on around him. I'm not gonna trade for him because if I'm the Houston Texans, if you give up Watson, you probably still have to give up a first-round pick. What happens if news comes out that he has all these, I'm gonna call them victims, and then he can't even play in the NFL? So in terms of Deshaun Watson stuff, I'm not touching that. Let's go to Phil L. If/when Rodgers gets traded, who do you think? When do you think it will happen? It's a great question. If I'm the Green Bay Packers, it's probably going to be, I think, after June 1st, but it's also going to be before training camp and all that good stuff. So probably before July 15th. It'll be interesting. But if I'm Rodgers, maybe just let this continue to soak on. Maybe you work your way into a good deal. But there's a lot of people out there that think that he's going to get traded, and I'm actually one of those as well. So if you guys are looking for free Raiders videos every single day, hit that big red button that says subscribe and turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss a thing, because if the Raiders do go out and they trade for somebody like Aaron Rodgers, or go out and get somebody like Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, or they go out and sign other players, we're going to make a video about it, and I bet you this, we're going to be pretty quick too. So we're going to always keep you updated. Free Raiders videos around the latest news and rumors. I get that it's May. I get that this is the off season, but let's just keep one thing real. I ain't going anywhere. It's Mitchell Renz 365 for a reason. Keeping you updated 365 days out of the year. So go ahead and subscribe. All right, we got this next one coming in from 80G. Is that the salary? Is that what you make? Which linebacker do you think will ball out? Which linebacker do I think balls out? It better be Corey Littleton. He better step up, because when you're paying him the amount of money that we're paying him, he needs to really start showing that he is worth that money. I'm confident in Nick Kwiatkowski. He's probably the most reliable linebacker from top to bottom. But in terms of somebody else, I want to see what Nicholas Morrow does, and I'm hoping somebody like Divine Diablo, best name on the team, by the way, can go out and do the exact same thing. Let's go to Cameron Spro. Mitch, give us your take on the O-line. I think we might have some real problems. Incognito's 38, a rookie at right tackle, an unproven player at center. Miller, the only reliable one. I disagree with that. Denzel good. Can't knock on Denzel. The reason why they gave him the money they did is because Derek Carr, John Gruden said it last year. He was the MVP of that team. He really helped hold all these things together. Could you have some problems on the offensive line? Yes, absolutely. You also had a lot of problems on the offensive line last year, though, and you were the number one paid highest team in terms of offensive line play, right? And Alex Leatherwood going to be a lot better than Sam Young, going to be a lot better than Brandon Parker and all the other players you try to throw at right tackle. I actually like a healthy Richie Incognito. I get that he's 38, but when he's healthy, one of the better guards in football. And Andre James, it's limited, and I really actually think it could come down to him. But if you don't like what you have out of James, you throw in Nick Martin, who's going to be an average center, and that's exactly what he is. He has proven that he is an average center. So it does scare me, but the upside is definitely there, and that's what the Raiders are doing, youth and upside going forward. Ignacio, appreciate the super chat. Mitch, you think it's possible to trade for Julio Jones for less than a first-round pick? What do you think? I do actually think so. There's actually a report out there from Peter King that said that, hey, don't be surprised if the Atlanta Falcons decide to move on from Julio. They'd be willing to take less than a first-round pick in 2022. When I heard that, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm pretty interested in that. Now, if I'm Atlanta, I want a first-round pick. But if you are just trying to move on from some of his money because you're in cap hell, sure, maybe a second-round pick. All right, we got Theo Henry. Do the Raiders sign Steven Nelson? I don't personally believe so. I've also not really that high on somebody like Nelson, who I know a lot of people out there are a lot higher on him. I'm more of a believer that Nelson looked a lot better on that Pittsburgh Steelers defense because they had a lot of talent. If you were to put Nelson in some of these other situations, it would get a little bit more, murky to me. But he has a lot more of a physical corner. He's going to go up there and play nickel is probably where I end up putting him on this team. Would I rather have him than somebody like a Damon Arnett? Yeah, sure, I would. Let's go to Jake Powers. With how many DTs we sign in free agency, who do you think will make the roster, and do you think a guy like Philon will be a camp cut? I hope not. I will say Darius Philon is a pretty interesting name, and he was a player 2 years ago. Remember, he hasn't played the last 2 years. When he was with Gus Bradley, he looked pretty damn good and had a really good season as well. So, in terms of depth, they're going to keep a lot of depth at DT. I think they probably end up keeping 6 of those players there because for Gus Bradley's defense, you'll have to remember, he doesn't blitz a lot. Bottom 5 the last 3 years, I believe, in the National Football League at blitz rate. Why? They want to have fresh guys up front. So you're going to see a little bit more defensive tackle play, a little bit more rotation. But in terms of how many, I'm going to say we're going to keep 6. 6 guys is probably the way I would go at the DT position. Super Chat time coming in from Christopher Leonard. Mitch, any chance we look at wide receiver D.D. Westbrook? So there was a report that came out earlier in the week, I believe on Monday, that multiple NFL teams were interested in Westbrook. Probably about a month and a half ago, I said if there was one receiver that I would actually like the Raiders to go out and get, it was Westbrook. But now I look at the roster. We got Willie Snead. You got a guy like John Brown. I don't really think the Raiders go this direction. Sure, he's coming off an ACL injury, but a solid receiver when healthy, over 60 catches in 2019 and in 2018. However, I don't think that this is a player that they go after because of the injuries and because, well, you have other players out there on your team.